I'm Mr. Ramsey, saving Western civilization, one student at a time.
In this video, we're going to talk about the spark that caused World War I, and that happened on June 28th, 1914. And then the dominoes that actually allowed this war to happen. And that war, of course, is the First World War. Okay? So the event happens in Sarajevo, which is the capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina, and the date is June 28th, 1914, when Galeão Princip, a member of the Black Hand, assassinates Archduke Francis Ferdinand and his wife Sophie. So there's reasons why that happens, okay? Because the Black Hand, which Galeão Princip is a member of, is a radical nationalistic group. They believe in the idea of a greater Serbia, a Yugoslavia, where territories goes all the way to the Adriatic. The whole idea of Pan-Slavism, where all Serbs are united in a greater Serbian kingdom. Okay? So it's nationalism on ethnic lines, where all Serbs should be under one country. And the deal was that there were Serbs that were living in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire in Bosnia-Herzegovina, which Austria-Hungary controls in 1914. And Galeão Princip wants that area to belong to Serbia because he's a hardcore nationalist. So the reason why he assassinates the Archduke Francis Ferdinand is because, number one, he's in Sarajevo. Number two, it's the anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo, which is a Serbian major battle against Islam. And so he thought it was a slight that Francis Ferdinand would visit Sarajevo on June 28th, 1914, on the anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo. But there's another reason why he also wants to assassinate him, is because he believes... I'll just tell you, Francis Ferdinand, when he was going to take over the throne, he was actually deciding that maybe Bosnia-Herzegovina should have a legislative body, a constitution, and their own laws, and they decide to rule themselves. That's what Franz Joseph did during the 1860s with the Hungarians, and so that's why it's called the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, because the Hungarians in the 1860s got their own constitution, their own laws, their own legislative body, and Francis Ferdinand, was advocating that same policy for Bosnia-Herzegovina. So when he took over, he was actually thinking about having the empire being the Austrian-Hungarian Bosnia-Herzegovina Empire. Okay? And so, because he was advocating that, Galeão Princip and the Black Hand saw that as a threat, because then the Serbs really wouldn't want to rebel, wouldn't want to join Serbia, because they were being treated as equals in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So why don't we assassinate the guy that's trying to actually help the Serbs? Because then the Serbs would get mad, and they'd get nationalistic, and they'd want they want to be part of the Serbian Empire, not the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So that's the motive behind why assassinate Archduke Francis Ferdinand. So that's what happened. Francis Ferdinand planned to give the Slavs an equal voice in the government, and the Serbs, or at least the Black Hand Serbs, the nationalistic Serbs, feared this action would diffuse any movement for their goal for an entire Slavic Serbian state. So there were 7 members of the Black Hand that planned to assassinate him, and it was by accident because Franz Ferdinand's chauffeur took a wrong turn, and that's where Galeão Princip was, and he assassinates by firing his gun, killing both Sophie, and Franz Ferdinand. Okay, so that's the spark that starts World War I. Okay, now, because this happens, Austria-Hungary is upset. I mean, Franz Joseph, just to let you know, has lost his brother, okay, to revolutionaries. He lost his son by committing suicide because of revolutionaries. He lost his wife because a revolutionary anarchist assassinates him, and then he loses his grandnephew. Okay, so he's lost everything, and so he thinks that Serbia should pay because Serbia has been having these terrorist groups in their country for a long time, and the Serbian government has been supporting them. Okay, so he thinks he should pay. Franz Joseph thinks the Serbians should pay. All right. In addition, Count Leopold Berchtold, the Austrian-Hungarian foreign minister, also believes that Austria-Hungary should pay. He believes that they're responsible for supporting these terrorist organizations in their country, and he wants some demands set. So on July 5th, the foreign minister of Austria-Hungary, Berchtold, sent an envoy to Berlin to talk to the German Emperor William II, or Kaiser Wilhelm II. And Kaiser Wilhelm assured Austria that Germany would give its full support to any action that Austria-Hungary might take against Serbia. And so on July 23rd, Austria-Hungary gave Serbia an ultimatum, which listed a final conditions that must be accepted to avoid severe consequences. In other words, if you don't meet these demands, Austria-Hungary is going to declare war on Serbia. So Serbia, you have to meet these demands. Okay? The ultimatum that Austria-Hungary sent to Serbia was going to allow Austro-Hungarian officials to suppress all Serbian movements within Serbia. And they're also going to investigate who's responsible for the murder. Okay? Which basically Serbia would be giving up sovereignty. All right? So on July 25th, the Serbian leaders, not really happy with the demands, decided to accept all the demands except one, which they rejected the demand to take part in the investigation, allowing Austria-Hungarian officials to visit the country. Okay? That was not accepted by Austria-Hungary, and so they declare war on Serbia on July 28th, July 28th, 1940, which set up a whole bunch of dominoes, okay? Because Austria-Hungary is in alliance with Germany, okay? Serbia, because of Pan-Slavism, is aligned with Russia, and Russia is aligned with France, okay? So that's the issue that's going on, which is going to set a whole bunch of dominoes. Once one country starts to mobilize to get the troops ready to go, then all these other dominoes are going to happen. Okay? So, we'll talk about those dominoes in our next lesson. Thanks for watching.